Me. La 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 la. Hi. Look at this beautiful bald head. Oh, I'm BoredGamer. It's Friday, the 15th of July. I'm not prepared for what day or week it is. We're still waiting on 3.17.2 to go to a wider PTU and live as well, I suppose. Still waiting on lots of fixes for that, and we'll talk about that throughout the podcast or whatever this is. A live stream. This is a live stream. Create spline. What? I'm not a spline. So if you'd like to ask a question during the live stream, just say question in brackets and then put whatever sort of topic or question you want to talk about. You're more than welcome to ask about Star Citizen, which is, I suppose, my specialist subject. But you can talk to me about YouTube, about me, about mental health, about stuff that's happening with you, potentially. Answer most questions as best I can. I've been covering Star Citizen for many, 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 many years. Since 2014, 2013, 2014? Late 2013, early 2014? As sort of like my focused thing that I do, and I really enjoy Star Citizen. I am a big Star Citizen fan. I'm relatively critical of the project on certain things, but very hype and excited about a lot of stuff because that's the kind of person I am. And yeah, I genuinely enjoy Star Citizen, its community, and all that sort of jazz. So with that out of the way, sort of like a pre-disclaimer, Star Citizen Alpha 3.17.2. It has some problems at the moment on the PTU, and those problems are okay. And tell me, please, in chat, what would you prefer? Okay, got 3.17.2, got a lot of new content and stuff in that. Do you prefer Star Citizen having functional AI, yeah, and less general jitter? So less sort of animation problems, less jittering, less rubber banding, less network code problems, yeah, or do you prefer the game to be stable and higher performance, higher frame rates? So stable, I'm talking about crashes and both server crashes and client crashes. Those are your two choices. You can have a crashy experience, but with better AI, better animations, or you can have a stable performance with super dumb AI, which sometimes just don't react. And sometimes a bit less performance as well. So stable, performant, bad AI, or the opposite. So what's your sort of preference there? Now, I've actually thought about this for quite a while, and actually thought, I prefer the game to be performant and stable than pretty much anything else. Because if you're going to have a live build, that's what you sort of want. You want to be able to play it, even if the content there isn't as juicy as it should be. Fix it as you go. I'm wanting everything to come together eventually. That's the main thing I want, and I'm willing to sort of largely wait for that. And it's great that there's also a live experience that I can play. Now, the reason I say that is because at the moment, it shouldn't be a binary choice of those two things, should it, at all? But at the moment, what they're testing on the PTU seems to be when they fix one of those things, the other one breaks. For the most part. Now, hopefully, we get into a position where the game is got all of that. And hopefully that's 3.17.2. Even if there's sort of a mid-level of performance where the AI are somehow responsive and react to stuff, and the game is relatively performant and low on crashes, that'll be the game in a good place for testing and all that sort of jazz as well. But at the moment, it's annoying that you have one or the other. At least that's what my experience has been from playing the Siege of Orison tests and the last couple of weeks of PTU patches. And if people have different experiences, please tell me. But that seems to be what's going on. Thank you very much for joining me, Summer Yeti. Very much appreciated. And thank you very much for everyone else joining as well. You're all beautiful people, I'm sure. As I said, question in brackets if you'd like to ask a question or anything. Geto, I'm glad you're here as well, mate. I'm glad you're all here. Call out certain people. It's 2 p.m. in the afternoon for me in the UK. Speaking of where 3.17.2 is, where's the stream? It's here. So 3.17.2, yeah, it needs some testing before going to live for sure. Still, could see, in my opinion, a wider PTU for this weekend if Cloud and PM are trying to push it out to a larger audience for more testing data. And that's my expectation, but that's not a confirmation. That they could be like, actually, there's too many blockers for a wider PTU at the moment, because there are some big blockers. There are some big problems. Yeah. I'll wait for the new patch. Tea's the best. So at the moment, I've been drinking like a spicy ginger tea. I've gone off milk and tea. I've gone off like the black tea I was drinking before, and now it's I drink a ginger tea. Very nice fruit tea. I'm trying to be more healthy again, but finding that hard. Mr. Sparrow, I'm glad you're here. Souththought, good chap. So we got. When do you expect 3.17.2 to release to the persistent universe? So I expect it to be live build as early as the end of next week. As I said, there are some major problems with that 3.17.2 patch. They want to get the Siege of Orison in a good place. They want to get that patch in a good place. There's more that needs to be done to it to get that sort of balance between, if it indeed needs to be a balance between server stability and performance and functional AI. Reticulate those spines. Or spines. What else have we got? Little Chris Roberts behind me. Yeah, there is indeed still a lot of 30Ks, which is unfortunate. Do you know what time the Star Citizen Live is today? Let me have a quick look. You do Star Citizen Live on Twitch TV, 3 p.m. UTC, so it'll be 4 p.m. BST. It's 3 p.m. UTC. So, one of the main reasons that the AI becomes dumb and sort of non-functional is server problems. So it's server degradation, it's tick rates not being a consistent 30. So it's not them having to rewrite the AI code because the AI are broken from that point of view. If and when they get to a stable 30 sort of tick rate, that should actually sort itself out. That's true. We are in alpha, and they do need to sort of push features and push more for that. But Star Citizen is in a very unique position where it's maintaining a live build that updates regularly, which is a big focus, as well as trying to develop the game simultaneously with that, and 2 games simultaneously with that. And all the other modules like Arena Command, like Theatres of War, like Star Marine. It's really unique. It's really interesting. Seriously, is there cheating in Star Marine? I've seen cheating before. I've seen And obviously, there are lots of bugs and exploits as well. I'm not sure how rife cheating is since they put anti-cheat in. I suspect it's significantly lower. Have we had any updates on persistence? So persistent entity streaming is coming with 3.18, and that will have locational data saved and maintained for objects in the verse, a range of objects, even quite small ones. So, and then depending on if they're going the sharding route, which would have those items potentially load in and out with you and your character. So persistent entity streaming would be attached to your character, or if it's attached to the server, or both. Remains to be seen, or does it try and bring you back into the same shard? So there's some interesting stuff there with persistent entity streaming, but the idea is that it allows for the tracking of individual objects. Those objects can be left in a certain place and then recovered later, and it opens the door to a lot more interesting stuff with cargo, for server meshing. It's obviously essential for server meshing, load of the database and load of the updates that they've got planned. I am going hot today. It's been incredibly hot in the UK. So sort of like between 30 and 33 degrees in my room sort of thing. And that's pretty hot. But it's degrees Celsius. And I think next week it's going to be like 40 degrees, which is unprecedented in the UK. Or at least incredibly rare. I don't think within my lifetime I can remember it ever getting that high. So I've got an aircon, which is currently off. Today is a cooler day than it has been over the last week, which is quite nice. It means I can actually go on my my treadmill, as I can go out for a run, and I'm not having to have the aircon constantly on, which would be like in the background. Now they could probably put RTX on or something to get rid of the sound. That's probably clever things I can do. But I'm lazy. I am probably the laziest Star Citizen content creator. I've built my brand on covering Star Citizen daily for many years, and having a good knowledge base and being able to talk about Star Citizen and recall that knowledge pretty well, or get my notes, or have a good I reckon about stuff, and being accurate about some things, not very accurate about times and dates. You ask me when's 3.17.2 coming out. I think next week. But who knows, eh? So it looks like to me anyway. Are they going to fix size 3 to 9 EM missiles being unavoidable in 3.17.2? Yes, but I'm not sure if it's going to be fixed for 3.17.2. Are they entirely unavoidable? Of course, when you think. So let's have a look at the roadmap. See where we are with work on any parts of the course. Boop. So, good deliverables. We can always see work on ships. So we've got work from various teams, including audio and that sort of jazz. So some downstream teams and VFX going into September, Q3. So it's quite possible that ship will be roughly finished around the end of Q3, so we could see it in Q4. That'd be my sort of expectation. Something we might see it like CitizenCon as well. I think that's a possibility. I always talk optimistically about Star Citizen stuff because I'm an optimistic boy. I mean, I'm not actually in my sort of day-to-day life. I'm terribly anxious. I suffer very badly from anxiety and paranoia, but only sometimes. Sort of. Camera's gone mad. That'll be fine. You can see I'm a beautiful boy. There we go. What else is going on here? What else? I will come to your question at some point, most certainly. Just bear with me. Will I ever be able to buy things on the refinery decks again? Yes. So they will be expanding out the gameplay on cargo decks and refinery decks, so that there's reasons to go there, there's things to buy there. Some of the decks are going to be different on different stations, so you might want to go to a specific refinery deck at a specific station. But there's going to be things to buy, there's going to be ships to rent, there's going to be missions to do, all available at those areas. You think we'll see responsive AI before server meshing? Yes. I think we'll see... That's a really good question. So server meshing comes with a whole boatload around the same time of other networking improvements. And just the moving up to server meshing means that they can sort of finalize a lot of network code or get it into a closer to final state at the very least. So that from then on, you could see, well, maybe they'll be able to get 30 ticks. I'm hoping they get before that. I mean, they sort of are able to sort out 30 tick servers before that consistently. It might be a server meshing thing. But that's a really good point.
Contracted COVID with a 40 degrees Celsius plus fever in the best of the UK heat. But at least I have BoredGamer's stream here. Love you, Bored. Now, when hot tub stream.
So, when I get my house, I'm going to be buying a house within the next like year and a half sort of thing, is the plan. I'll probably get a hot tub there. Because what I will do is I'll buy a nice little house. It's got a couple of bedrooms, so I can have my mates over for board games and that sort of stuff, semi-regularly, and LAN parties and things. And then I'll probably build an outdoor office as well, and have to the side of that a hot tub's the plan. We'll do hot tub streams then. It'll be Zin, like my editor, coming over a lot of the time with her partner and some of my other gamer mates. So hot tub streams then, Hexters. I think I recently had COVID for like a month or like at least 3 weeks. So I kept on testing negative, but I had a really bad cold, like flu. Then got a bit better. Then was basically sleeping all of the time. Like I was still pretty shattered at the moment, but I was like about 2 weeks. I was like, let's get up for like an hour, and then I gotta go back to bed. So it was quite hard to do videos over the last few weeks. Did go to a Ramstein gig in between when I felt better. So either I had a cold, then I got COVID, or I had a COVID, and then it got worse again or something. But it must be horrible to have it in this heat. Sorry, Hextus, mate, and anyone else that's suffering in the heat. I hope you feel better. Thank you very much for subscribing. That's very much appreciated. You're a legend. That's what we got here. Swing Mike's been streaming the PTU for nearly 3 hours and hasn't had any crashes. Apparently some hotfixes last night were effective. That is great to hear. That is great to hear. I've not played today, but I will probably check it out a bit later. When are you going to start posting new podcast episodes? Are you talking about me and Zin talking podcasty stuff? Or are you talking about when am I going to post stuff on SoundCloud again? Because soon for both. Probably Monday will be the next when me and Zin chat. So she's going up to another company's work party as a +1 on Saturday. I think she's busy this weekend, but then on Monday we'll be doing podcast. When you complete Squadron 42, you get something called citizenship, but nobody knows exactly what that involves yet. Yes, but so throughout Squadron 42, completing some of that stuff will get you access to like military equipment and the ability to buy and contacts in game as well, apparently, in the persistent universe. Where's the progress of the Orion? I think the Orion's off the progress tracker at the moment. I think it obviously it like doubled in size. Yes. Currently off the progress tracker. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a massive mining ship. Massive now. Proper strip miner. When Star Citizen adds full persistence, whenever the F that will be, does that mean hypothetically that ships won't disappear after exploding instantly? So I don't think that's actually tied to full persistence, although it wouldn't necessarily have to have been tied to full persistence. I do think that once we have salvage in, full persistence and exploding ships will allow the hulls to stay behind to be salvaged. So at least eventually, yes, it will lead to that. Is that what we're getting in 3.18s? Maybe.
content you provide. Couldn't get tickets for Rammstein Berlin. Was sold out to fast, not like this.
No worries. So I really enjoyed Rammstein. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. It was very hot throughout, as the pyrotechnics were incredibly hot. It was a damn good gig. This is the first. Thank you very much for the sub. That is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. What 72 is in the PTU. There, I answered the stream's question. Where's my reward? You are good. Haburu. Haburu? Hebrew. When Star Citizen add full persistence, that's what we talked about a minute ago. When server meshing goes live, will they give out t-shirts saying I sharded? You don't need server meshing for sharding. Oh, I'm not going to work. Thanks, Samiyeti, for putting how you convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, but I use Google's on the interwebs. What have we got here? I meant to ask BG, what player count is but accidentally put in YouTube? What? I do not know what this means as a question. When do you think we'll see the Zeus with inside Star Citizen hitting at it? So you're talking about because they showed off the spacesuit, the older spacesuit. I don't know. I think we might see it in like scrap fields and things like that. Maybe like they'll have it like a Citizen Con or an Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, like on a pillar, like go the Zeus. You think we'll see it in game? Are you? Just a question, but I saw the trailer. The ships coming out of the water. From what I've seen on videos, ships can't currently. So eventually, ships will be able to interact with the water a lot better. Yes. What else have we got here? When will the NordVPN Queen of England do a live stream? She's kind of hot. Hello! Hello! I can do her voice very well. I worry about you, Dark Soul. Honestly, 3.17.2 is in such a bad state, they should skip it entirely and roll updates into 3.18 and leave alive servers alone until they can figure out server meshing in 3.18. I mean, server meshing is not going to be figured out in 3.18. Persistent entity streaming is not server meshing. It is steps towards server meshing. You might see server meshing as early as the end of this year in EVA CARTI testing. That is incredibly optimistic, though. Much more likely early next year is basically what Cloud Imperium has said. Is 3.17.2 when they are going to wipe the PTU? Yes. 3.17.2 will see a wipe of Alpha UEC, merits, items, and ships. So everything except for reputation. Obviously, you'll be keeping anything you bought with real money. What else have we got here? Do you have any idea of when Vandal AI will be added to the persistent universe? So, Cloud Imperium are improving Arena Commander and got some sort of fixes and updates planned in the work for Arena Commander and Vandal Swarm and that sort of stuff. So, when are we going to actually see Vandal in the persistent universe? We've previously seen them in the universe a long, long time ago at the end of the... can't remember her name. It's been so long. Not Twitch Pateco. What's her name? I can't remember her name. That's going to drive me mad. What was the first set of actual missions we had in the game? The mission giver there that would only talk to you via audio. Tessa Bannister. Thank you. Thank you. I was going absolutely mad. Couldn't remember Tessa's name. So at the end of that set of missions originally, so you'd have to get out of your ship to sort of find a black box on another ship, and loads of Vandal then came in at the last mission there, and they sort of changed it up. So Vandal can be in the persistent universe when they want them to be. Obviously, they're just keeping them in Arena Commander at the moment. I do think we'll see updated Vandal ships go into Arena Commander, and I do think we'll see them in the persistent universe, but they want to be in specific places, so they're not going to be really in the Stanton system. At least that's not the plan. Sometimes maybe they'll turn up there very briefly, or like Dunalk event will have them migrating or attacking or something. I'm not great with rap. That's why I don't have a rap album. Do you think CIG is doing too much? No, I do think CIG, obviously they're expanding out their studios. Sometimes their priorities don't align in the way that I'd like them to. But I think that's true of everyone who go like, why aren't you working on this? Why isn't this sorted? Why are you focused on this, not this? What's the footage in the background? It's a variety of different things, from Zin grabbing it out of Inside Star Citizens and sort of trailers, so our own footage, and things like Citizen Con from last year. Enjoy the elevators dim. The elevators have largely been fixed, actually. Well, not entirely, but... What's your favourite game mechanic to date? I quite like just chilling out and playing Star Citizen multi-crew. So obviously, mining's probably the most refined. But I quite enjoy just the Siege of Orison. The fact that I can go to a landing zone, get a save point there, and then go out into dealing with this large-scale dynamic event. FPS is actually quite fun. Sort of a more co-op PvE battlefield sort of style thing. What's the current unique player count in Star Citizen? I think up to like 2.8 mil, probably unique player accounts. 2.83 million unique player accounts. How many of those are active players? Significantly less. significantly less. I don't know. I can ask CIG. They'll probably give us some stats at some point. Is there a tentative date for 3.18 to be on the PTU? I'm expecting by the end of this month. For early Evocati. Around there, maybe just after. I recently rediscovered my love for Star Citizen. Do you have any opinions on what things may or should add in the near future to provide more sustainable, exciting experience? So, reasons to take and hold outposts and then defend them against waves of NPCs, because they can do that now. Adding that to lots more sort of outposts and areas like that. Yeah, I think just more missions, more mission accessibility. That's what I want to see in the short term. Whereas the RSI Orion delayed, it got massive, and they just deprioritized it over other ships that they want to see in the near future. It's going to take them a while to get it done once they sort of focus on it. I've looked everywhere for 3.17.2. Under rocks, under my bed, in a closet, my pockets. I just can't find it. What else have we got? Is there a set date for the wipe? When 3.17.2 goes live? What about Theatres of War? Is that still alive? So yes, it's still alive. Think of it more sort of on pause while they are working out networking issues, animation problems, that sort of stuff. And then once they've got that sort of sorted, potentially around sort of serve meshing time, they'll start bringing that back for testing again. That's my expectation there. Because the teams that were working on Theatres of War have transitioned into teams that are working on spaceship combats and Star Marine Arena Commander and stuff associated similarly to Theatres of War. Yes, they did say 2019, I think it was about 3 years ago. They said, "Oh, we want to get it out to you guys ASAP." And they did do Evocati testing, admittedly, but it just wasn't ready. How you doing, keeping up with the heat. So today is actually pretty good with the heat, Rockstar, mate. It's not too bad. I've got my aircon off at the moment, but I'm glad I've got aircon. It's just a standing unit that's in my room. It would be hellish without it. Could CIG potentially sell a game engine with the tech they're building for Star Citizen? Yes, they potentially could. They could do it. They could do a massive thing like that. They have the ability to now that they've bought the CryEngine. 3.18 PTU will surely be different from any other PTU. Thoughts on how this might play out? But it's going to be incredibly buggy in this early Evocati because it's got salvage and the cargo refactor, both big ticket items, but both big changes, and persistent entity streaming, which is just going to cause like a world of problems. So it's going to be an incredibly long testing cycle, 2 to 3 months. So expect it's going to be leaked a lot, and people will just be like, "Oh my god, it's terrible," because it's going to be It's going to be hellishly buggy to start with, for sure. Could CIG potentially set out? Literally talked about that. And when server meshing comes online, what's the max they're saying per server? So per server is sort of irrelevant, right? Because they can just mesh those servers together. I think they want to sort of up it from 50 to maybe up to 200 sort of thing for each individual server, would sort of like, I think was roughly their plans. But then all stitched together in the same sort of shard or whatever, could be thousands of players. When will inventory system have a loot all button? I expect them to add sort of stuff like that as they go along. It just requires a dev to go, oh, actually, I want to have this there ASAP. But generally, better loot functionality will be coming in from patch to patch. When do you think Levski will back? Levski will be in the next system, so I think we'll probably see that next year. My expectation. Will NPCs on the planet next to Reclaimers shoot at your ship when you're flying in? So they might if they're hostile to you. Else. You think static server meshing will affect reading commander summary? So it's bundled with a load of other sort of networking updates and foundation for other stuff. So yes, I mean server meshing will even affect Squadron 42, for example, because other stuff's based off it. Does the bandit matchman have landing gear? Yes, it's got like a little leg at the front. Boop, boop. You can see it on the screen. And probably show off the landing gear at some point. The Star Citizen community is generous, caring, and welcoming and helpful for the most part. Yeah, I mean, it's a growing community as well. There's always going to be a small percentage, a tiny percentage of the community that is asshats. Sort of just bear that in mind. As the community gets bigger, that amount of people will get bigger. But overall, it's generally very welcoming, very kind, and very chill. For the most part of it, very chill community. There's obviously a lot of jobs worths and that sort of stuff there as well. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. What happened to 3.17.2? We're still waiting for it to go out to wider PTU. I'm hoping that will be later this weekend. We'll see it go out to wider PTU if it's still think that's a possibility. They're sort of trying to get the balance of stability and performance versus AI functional. Although people were saying earlier that it's a lot more stable at the moment. So we got here. yeah, it's very likely the next system will be the next system after the Pyro system's added. What does the road to 4.0 mean for Star Citizen? Well, it means a few things. Clan Imperium are focused on trying to get 4.0 out the door, which is like the Pyro system, server meshing, and some major core of the game sort of in a more finalized state, so they can then look at not having placeholders there anymore for a lot of the stuff. They can start finalizing all the stuff and building on it, rather than going, oh, we need to remake that later. So the road to 4.0, we'll start to see Clan Imperium talk about 4.0 and testing for it and what exactly it's going to be starting September. I think they've got a series planned for then. We'll probably see 4.0 in our hands early 2023, at least in Ivacati hands. They said as early as the end of this year, but I think that's much less likely at the moment. It's a possibility, but unlikely. It just means that that's sort of the focus. That's where we're going at the moment. So we got. Could COG potentially sell game engine? Yes, as I said earlier. How long is a piece of string? I don't know. String? What, as long as string is. When will the inventory system have a loot button? As we talked about that earlier. Is there any news on power gameplay and depressurization systems? So, sort of, there's a bundle of things that I will throw into the category of damage control and deeper systems on ships, including artificial gravity that's being worked on, fire and fire extinguishers, damage to components, physical components themselves, depressurization, lots of stuff. The node system, basically the power system, resource system that moves power around the ships and has like circuits, and you can turn on and off these sort of relays. That's all super cool gameplay. That's all fantastic damage control gameplay and engineering gameplay. When is that coming into the game? We don't know yet. They're working on it. We're going to start to see some of that in game probably later this year. Depressurization is probably a little bit further out, although the rim system does support it. Did you see the mule factoring into gameplay for the future? It's going to be used to help load and unload ships. It's going to be used, probably going to see a lot on the ground and at landing zones, moving around stuff. Why are they suddenly silent on roads? I think we'll still see roads in the not too distant future. Obviously, they're going to improve that river tech and the basin tech, and then translate that to being on more planets and moons, and then we'll see roads in the not too distant future. You think we should be able to paint our ships like you can paint in GTA? We are going to have a more robust way of and customizable way of painting ships in game as an aftermarket service. 4.0 is significantly closer to release than Squadron 42's release. Yes. How many ships do you think it will be in the game at release? Talking about individual hulls, so we talk about hulls and variants. I think we should sort of like. How many ships are there now, even? Are we 150-ish at the moment, or sort of building towards that with variants? It's quite a lot. I don't even know anymore. I need to sit down and count them. I love the Banning Metriment. I'm looking forward to it. Architecturally, it's not sort of like my dream ship. I'm not a massive fan of the Banning ships. On paper, though, I love the idea of a floating sort of marketplace, shopping mall, bazaar. Yeah, that's exciting to me. Will there be repair tools to repair the ship? So there's going to be multiple ways of repairing ship. You can use a repair tool, a hand repair tool, which you get like the little canisters of salvage stuff or hull stripping stuff that you can use to repair the hulls. You can replace components by hand as well, and sort of deal with damage control, putting out fires, turning on, repairing fuse boxes, things like that. So there's that sort of level. And there's also ship repairing, which you'll be able to do with like things like sort of like larger scale hull repairs and repairing of potentially large components with the Corsair Crucible repair ship. My brain's a bit addled today. Will you be running for BM? You can do a worse job than the current one. I will not be at the moment. I don't actively I'm not actively part of any political party. I'm sort of not hugely disenfranchised by politics, but I have opinions that are across the political spectrum, which doesn't put me in a single party. I'm very dynamic with my politics based on an issue and the reality of that issue, rather than wanting to go, oh, this is the party line, I'll do that then, or that's the right take. It's like no, more nuance, more. You can't put yourself in a box like that when you're talking about individual issues. Have you raced the snake pit yet? No, I have not. Me and Zin are going to be planning to do that next week. I won 100 either the other day from winning the race there. Oh, congrats, Summer Yeti. Good man. BG for BM. Have you been getting enough sleep? No, definitely not. Went to bed at like 4 a.m. Last night and got up at maybe like 8. So recently it's been too hot and I don't have the best sleep pattern anyway. Likely a little bit outlandish of a question, but when do you think the most average system requirements will settle in the future to play Star Citizen? Where most average sort of... That's a good question. Depends how technology advances. With the sort of Vulkan updates and Gen 12 rendering update stuff, that will allow the game to be significantly more scalable than it is now. You have graphics options, you have scalability stuff that will actually make a difference. More CPU cores can be used. A lot more stuff will get pushed over to the GPU. So that should make the game look prettier and be more scalable. And at the top end look prettier, obviously. Becomes the mandatory Polaris 1 question. We don't know when the Polaris is coming. Let me just check to make sure there's been no changes. So we've got no indication on the Polaris at the moment. We'll probably hear more about it around CitizenCon. Willie DePoo! What a beautiful name. Thank you very much for the cause. Thank you very much for that big old donation. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. You're a star. Thank you. I like money. So cheers to that. Especially during the heat. 1 second. I'm going to use the facilities. I'll be the chair and Chris Roberts' disembodied head is in charge. Chris. Ah, yeah. Oh no, my head's got all shiny. Got so shiny. Why is my head now in a super shiny spot? This why? That why? It's got a shiny head today. You have to deal with holes in my head. Okay, that's your cross to bear. 3.17.2 is still in first wave PT at the moment. And we're hoping for wider PT actually this weekend. It's possible. But there are still major problems in 3.17.2. What's my perfect Sunday? Board games. Some nice drinks in the garden. Barbecue. Roast dinner. One of those two. I'd play board games on Sunday. Chill out. Chill at home. With my mates. Do you think the Misk Odyssey will have a different interior look compared to the other Misk ships? Yes. I think it will look a little bit sort of more homely because it's for exploring. So slightly less industrial. When will I be able to buy a Big Benny's vending machine? And can I smuggle it through customs? Probably get it through customs, fine. You probably will be able to buy Big Benny's vending machines as well because they're likely to be proper flare items that we can place in our hangars and things. What do you think of CIG building Theatres of War into different planets like on ArcCorp? Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're going to be doing with a Theatres of War. They'll go, let's take this planet and this section of the planet, bam, and run a big Battlefield-style mission there. So Siege of Orison is very similar to Theatres of War sort of experience. So the Siege of Orison event, very good fun, but they need to have the AI functional there, and they need to have the game not super crashy. Do you think they'll really pull off planet orbits? They've got the tech to be able to do it. Okay. Does that then cause so many server problems and game problems? Maybe. Could they run a great star system without orbiting planets? Yes. I'm not sure why they said they were going to do it, because I think, oh my god, that's so much trouble. But maybe it's not as much trouble as I think. They still plan to do it. That's what they've said. I would not be upset if they removed it, though. Do you see multiple versions of the same type of ship across manufacturers, i.e. the Drake and RSI solar mining ship? Oh. We see it. Yeah, we could potentially see stuff like that, yeah. Any idea why I can't upgrade my Starfarer Gemini? I feel like I might have disabled that for package. To incentivize melting my physical reward from my 2014 pages. So you can't go to upgrades. You can't update it in the store page. I'd email support and say that's what you want to do, and you're expecting to be able to do that. But it's still, Theatres of War still coming, or is it gone? Theatres of War is currently on pause, but it will be coming in the future still. FCIG mentioned when they plan to add racing mechanics. So they've previously had some racing mechanics in game. Obviously, they offer racing sort of in the in Reader Commander, and the Snake Pit has been added as a racetrack, sort of in the Persistent Universe as of 3.17.2. We're going to see racing around Grimhex and that sort of stuff in the not too distant future, but I don't know exactly when it's going to be enforced racing mechanics. Will we see a BoredGamer Star Citizen themed cooking feature? At some point, probably. Me and Sin are big foodies. I used to be a chef. Not a great chef. I did used to be a head chef, but it was more sort of business related. I'm good at coming up with menus and teaching those to other people. that have some skills. Okay, do we have any other questions? Do you think we're going to have a 3.17.3? Only if they need to do like a minor hotfix or whatever, but they'll probably just do that through backend stuff. So I wouldn't expect a 3.17.3. I'm expecting them to go straight on 3.18. Whereas Alpha 3.17.2, we're still waiting for it to go to wider PT, which I think is genuinely possible this weekend, and I think it's possible that we'll have a live build by the end of next week. It dawned on me today that I wish they would just abandon Theatres of War and focus on Persistent Universe dynamic events. They're more or less the same thing. Well, they haven't abandoned Theatres of War entirely, but it is sort of paused, and they are focusing on dynamic events, it seems. More than Theatres of War, anyway. Do you think they'll add cooking? I think there will be some level of food preparation because we have kitchens, because we have the ability to find raw food, and some of it will require cooking or prep to make it edible. You think 4.0 this year? They've said that we could potentially see 4.0 in early EVA card testing by the end of the year, though I think it's much more likely to be early next year. Can't hire NPCs yet, no. The first sort of thing we'll get like that is probably AI blades that will allow you to have semi-autonomous function on sort of turrets and things like that. They should add ramen to the game, that is true. Will this game be ready in 5 years? I'm expecting it to be in beta in 5 years. Jedwig, Jewidig, I can't say your name. Can you imagine if Star Citizen went open source? I do think they should have started Star Citizen in a very similar fashion, that sort of had it much more mod friendly, and have people sort of like, these are the assets, play with them, sort of do what you want, and less of a dynamic sort of persistent universe, and more of a sort of like sandbox play and modding sort of setup tools. That's why I would have done Star Citizen originally. Obviously, they've got a fantastic model, fantastic for monetization, fantastic for the community, fantastic for people that want to play the game now where it's being developed, but it's a very slow development because of that. When are we going to have the fire extinguisher in game? Potentially by the end of this year, we could see fires and fire extinguishers. Potentially. It did look like they were focusing on them. What did the Roughneck pack consist of? What was LTI? I can't remember. You can, if you just search on Google, you'll be able to find it in. Actually, I can Google it for you. We're on Star Citizen Tools. It looks like the Roughneck pack had the Odyssey, Prospector, Freelancer, Vulture. Look, is more info on them? No, I haven't got access to actually see, confirm what was in it. Apologies for that. That's what it looks like. How is the planet's time system set up? Is it all the same rate of planet specific? I think it's. I don't actually know. I don't actually know the rate they spin around. They can have it planet specific. I know that, planet and moon specific, because obviously they're going to have them rotating and orbiting as the plan for the future. I haven't actually thought about, are the times of day different on the different planets and moons at the moment. What additional or supplementary features are not yet on the roadmap? Do you think they will be added for 3.18? There's a huge amount of stuff. There's an absolutely huge amount of stuff, and I will do a video on that shortly. You could have things like the Hull C, for example. Do you know if we can do you know if customization of the Constellation Aquila with the turret gun art? Do you know if we can customization for the Constellation Aquila, the gunner turret should be on top and the scanner on the bottom, and can hardly see out of the turret seat. Sorry for my bad English. No problem at all. Broke my brain a little bit. Expect them to sort some problems out like that and allow customization for different hardpoints. Although certain hardpoints are going to be just like, this is for a weapon, and this is for an utility item. What about the new HUD? So they're working on multiple things for UIs and HUDs at the moment. So manufacturer-specific HUDs for ships are being worked on. We'll start to see them. Actually, I think from 3.18 onwards, we'll start to see more of them. They're doing them for... they're building a star map. They're building a mini map. There's a huge amount of UI and HUD stuff that's going on at the moment. What is the justification for unannounced ships instead of already funded ships that have gameplay? Aside from cash grab. So, I mean, part of it is marketing for them, for their monetization model. They are obviously also bringing in a lot of the older ships. Now, there's not very many ships left in Star Citizen that haven't been completed or aren't seeing work, if you see what I mean. There's genuinely very few now. So they do want a stream of new ships, as long as they're producing ships slightly quicker than they're adding new ones. It's sort of all good. So them saying unannounced is because they've got them in the works and they don't want to share what they are yet because of marketing reasons. Again, you can disagree with that. Will server merging and meshing be happening in 3.17.2? No. It's 3.18 is when we're going to see persistent entity streaming. Server meshing is going to be coming in 4.0. How do I feel about immigration? It's a necessary part of the world and the world's economy. And anything more than that on a specific policy, I probably won't answer. Yeah. When we're going to be able to make a shower in any spaceship, take a shower in any spaceship. So they'll probably add hygiene at some point. That's one of the things they want to do. So you actually be able to use your facilities there, because otherwise people will say you smell. Quite literally, the sort of NPCs won't serve you or comment on you needing a wash or to change your clothes or whatever. You think we'll get a really fun patch this year? Like 3.15 was. Not sure if I'm right about the number, but I think you know what I mean. So hopefully 3.17.2 has got a lot of gameplay accessibility and fun there. The Siege of Iceland could genuinely be great. How often will some ship be marked on again? Like the Valkyrie, I really want it. Things going on sale, and you'll see a big sale at the end of November. You'll see a variety of sales throughout the year with patch releases and just any time that CIG fancy a sale. Drop Abby in Star Citizen Live today. Yes, it should be pretty good. He's a good chap to talk to, and we'll be talking about 3.17.2 stuff, but also probably some other features that we haven't heard for that, and some of the stuff they're probably working on now or planning to improve after 3.17.2. Hope you're alright, Matachi, mate, and JP Sandman. Thank you. We'll have to chat again at some point, Matachi, mate. I've entirely lost contact with you. That's my bad, because I am super lazy. I deal with everyone, though. I deal with all the content creators in the world. I don't chat to any of them, really. Noobify and Salty Mike occasionally. Actually, I need to actively go, hello. Gordon SMB, all the first channels I followed 7 years ago. Oh my god, so longs. You're doing well, everyone. Any other quick questions I can answer before I dash off for lunch? Do you think cheating will become a problem in Star Citizen? Well, it's going to be a problem. It's a problem in lots of games. I think that because of the way it's sort of tracked, and you can see they probably have very detailed logs, that will be a lot easier to track and deal with cheating. They can obviously have some reasonable anti-cheat in there. I think because of the complexity of Star Citizen, again, it'll be harder to cheat as well. Will it be a problem? Yes, if it's not addressed in the correct way. Do I think it's going to be easy to do, or hard to punish or anything? No, I think they're about to deal with it. Lurkers are underrated. That is true. When are they going to make a rework for the 600i? So the 600i and its both its variants, they've sort of started to be reworked. I don't know when they're going to be in the game. I would actually expect them to have that updated for later this year. How much do you think we will see events in 3.17.2? And do you think we will get another Xenothreat? I think we'll see another Xenothreat, probably as part of 3.18. What's the footage in the background? It's a mixture of things, from Inside Star Citizens to Star Citizen, the Citizen Cons and ship trailers and our Mine and Zins footage as well. Do you think there will be another wipe when Pyro comes out? Yes, I do think there will be another wipe for 4.0. There's lots of potential wipe scenarios beyond 3.17.2 that we could see. 3.18 could have a wipe because of persistent entity streaming. 4.0 could have a wipe because of server meshing, things like that. It's just whenever kind of people need it. Sometimes it's going to be common, sometimes it's going to be very rare. Are they given a rough timeline for 4.0? Early testing potentially end of this year, sort of early next year. Could be looks like to be the first patch of 2023 will be 4.0 at the moment. What about the next spaceship, like the Vulcan? What? What about the Vulcan? What? The CIG plan to make single cannons, hit scan, again in the future. And we might see some more hit scan type weapons, although projectile travel is likely to be on all weapons, to be honest. So probably no direct hit scans, unless we have... If we have beam weapons, based on how they do the travel of the beam... So yeah, I don't think we'll see true hit scan weapons for, especially for ships. It's possible, but I think it's unlikely because they'll want projectile travel. You might see like railguns and very, very straight firing and very low drop off weapons, very, very fast projectile movements. But you see very short range hit scan weapons, sort of phasery type things, or like an electric beam that sort of it's just very, very short range hit scan. I just don't think a long range hit scan's a good idea. So how long before CIG starts naming builds 3.17.2x? Hopefully not. Hopefully they won't have the double point patches. So what you're looking at on the screen at the moment is the work on physics refactoring of ground vehicles. So they plan to make ground vehicles more appropriately have proper traction and weight to them and things like that. When can we have around the verse the Vulcan? You are big fan of that ship team. So the Vulcan is, as far as I'm aware, so it looks like Master Chief. So the Vulcan is a drone ship, and it's very cool for rearmor, fuel, and repair. I have a Vulcan. It's basically outfit the drone for one of those services, and then service other ships, sort of on the go. But not in game yet. Don't know when it's going to be in game. Probably not. Probably within the next couple of years, you'll see it. Do you think the deployment of physical cargo will end up with the end of ship health pools? So, moving to physical components, which physical cargo, I suppose, is related to in quite a lot of ways, the cargo refactor and stuff. But yeah, so when we have physical components, then ships' health pools won't be artificial anymore. If I buy armor sets on the website, how do I get them? Would I have them? So they'll be on where your main home base is. So wherever you set your home base, they'll be at that location, and then you'll be able to drag them on you. Right. I'm going to dash off in a second because I want to release a video just on general news, talking about Cloud Imperium hitting 4 million player accounts, but also more about the Snake Pit and Alpha 3.17.2. Where are we with that? The latest patch notes and problems with the balance, as I said earlier, of the AI versus stability. Do you think refactor is a synonym to we did it wrong and let's make it better, or we didn't really think it through and we need to do it all over again from scratch? I think sometimes it can be sometimes. I think a lot of the time is we needed a placeholder mechanic or something that we thought was going to work, and now we've got something better. But do I receive the armor after each respawn? No. So when you lose that piece of armor, you've lost it unless you restart your account or after a patch reset. You're buying. Try not to lose it. It's a bit of a faff to get it back. You can go back and try and get it. You can reset your account to get it back, and they will have a better way of dealing with it in the future. So you'll be able to get it back from a concierge desk by going into game, or get it back some other way. But at the moment, that's the only way you can get them back. How long do you think it's going to take to see the Ranger RC? I think we'll see it sort of middle of next year. That's what it looks like to me with the Ranger. I think I want to finish off the sort of physics refactor for ground vehicles and then get the Ranger in. Maybe have it around the same time. You think 3.19 will be content light after 3.17.2 and 3.18? Don't know, but probably. We'll have to wait and see. They haven't talked about exactly what's going to be in 3.19 yet. It's still planned to be at the end of this year. Right, I'm going to find someone else that's streaming and tell you to go over to see them. I'm sure they're beautiful people, and will provide interest to you. I'm going to throw you over to the beautiful Super Mac brother. Because he does very similar stuff to me. And he's a beautiful boy. Who loves his shoes. Oh my god. Go ask him about how many pairs of shoes he's got. Ask him. Do that. Give the boy some love. We link his channel as well. Give my boy SMB some love. I don't know, I've linked his videos. Let's do it without his videos. I think I do that every time with SMB. But you guys take care. Thank you very much for joining me today. That's genuinely appreciated. I'll be getting a video out very soon, so stay tuned to the channel for that. I'll be within the next like half an hour or so, maybe almost immediately after finishing streaming. Yeah, thanks for the hustle. And chill out. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope it's not too hot. I hope you have a nice one. That's what I'm trying to say.